Good evening. I'm Cody Christie, and this is Some Good News, West Fargo High School edition. After last week's episode, the response was overwhelmingly positive, and the SGN inbox started to fill up pretty fast. So, it made it easy to put together some stories for this week's edition. So, without further ado, let's jump into some good news. Last week we brought you the news of Faiza Hassan, a senior at West Fargo High School, that had been awarded North Dakota State University's Cultural Diversity Tuition Waiver. In the last week we've also learned that another senior, Amber Nelson, was awarded the same tuition waiver. If you missed last week's episode, the Cultural Diversity Tuition Waiver is offered by some local colleges as a way to promote diversity on their campus. It is given to minority students that are traditionally underrepresented in post-secondary education. So, congratulations to Amber. In other news, West Fargo teachers have certainly been missing their students, but they've also been missing their colleagues. And the counseling office has come up with a creative way so that we can still have some of that camaraderie with one another. On Fridays, the counseling office is having what's called coffee cart. During the school year, they have the coffee cart put in different hallways around the school on Friday so teachers can stop by and grab coffee, tea, soda, whatever it might be in the morning. But now we've had to move virtually with that, and so teachers have been stopping in to catch up on each other's lives. A fun little event. And if other teachers out there, if you've missed it so far, think about stopping in this next Friday. Now, we're going to check in with our senior weather correspondent, Cody Wurtzfield. Cody?
Well, it's practically summer out. Get outside. Practice social distancing. Just do it.
Go Packers.
Thanks, Cody. Now SGN would like to recognize the seniors on the West Fargo High School speech team who would have competed at state last week. Their coach, Dakota Breen, wanted to have a huge shout out to those seniors for all the hard work they put in this year and for working with the underclassmen to build up the team and just the leadership that they've shown throughout the years. One of the seniors, Elise Hogan, has been selected to represent West Fargo High School at the National Speech Tournament, which will be held in an online format this June. It's quite the honor. Now, one of the seniors on the speech team, Benny, would like to share a short clip from one of his speeches from this year.
When he hoisted himself and took leave of this place through a hole in the smog without leaving a trace. And all that the Lorax left here in this mess was a small pile of rocks with one word, unless, whatever that meant. Well, I just couldn't guess. That was long, long ago. But each day since that day, I've sat here and worried away. And through the years, while my buildings have fallen apart, I've worried about it with all my heart. But now, says the Wansler, now that you're here, the word of the Lorax seems perfectly clear. Unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing is going to get better. It's not. So catch, says the Wansler. He lets something fall. It's a truffula seed. It's the last one of all. You're in charge of the last of the truffula seeds, and truffula trees are what everyone needs. Plant a new truffula, treat it with care, give it clean water, and feed it fresh air. Grow a forest, protect it from axes that hack. Then the Lorax and all of his friends may come back.
Thanks, Benny. That was great. Now in some other good news, West Fargo High School's avid seniors have been working hard to increase their scholarship totals. If you didn't know, last year's seniors earned $1.82 million in scholarship and grants from the universities they were attending, and that include multiple full ride offers to Georgetown, the University of Minnesota, North Dakota State University, just to name a few. Now, this year's seniors, like I said, have been working hard, and they've crossed over $960,000. So they're closing in on that $1 million mark. So congratulations to them, and keep working hard on those scholarships for all you seniors out there, because there's a lot of free money that you can get to help you pay for post-secondary school. All right, let's jump into our second interview ever on SGN West Fargo. All right, now we are pleased to be joined by Caitlin Bayman, a senior at West Fargo High School, also known as Bubble Wrap to all the student council people out there. So Caitlin, thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, we're going to start off with kind of a cool little project you've been doing for seniors that are out there with their senior pictures. So tell us all about this idea you had and what you're doing with it.
Yeah, so I can't take too much credit for the idea itself, but I've tried to put a little twist on it. So a lot of people have seen that the Packer backers have been doing little senior spotlights on Facebook, but Facebook is mostly like parents and older people, and so like classmates and underclassmen aren't really seeing that kind of stuff, and I thought it would be cool for the younger grades to kind of see our seniors and give them ideas for what they might want to do. And so I saw an Instagram account from Davies that they were doing something similar. And so I sent it to Avery, our student body president, and I had said like, oh, this is such a cool idea. Like, would you want to work on it with me? And we went back and forth for a while, and then we decided it would be cool to have all of us student council seniors like share it. And so we split up days for all of us. So all 8 of us take a day and do 2 posts. So in the first week we did our own, and then we did another seniors. So our first post had just said to send in, your name, your plans for next year, how you've been passing time during the quarantine, advice to underclassmen, favorite teachers, bunch of questions like that. And then they can message us their responses. And so within the first day, we had like we're up to 334 followers now. Wow. So we just reached out and we're like following West Fargo accounts and like seniors, and we have gotten a lot of responses. I think we're doing 2 a day right now, and it's going to probably take us, like, we have, I think, 30 DMs right now that we still have to do, and it's students from like all areas of school, like there's people who can share different experiences of high school that they've had and different activities. Like, it's kind of a little variety of all types of students. So that was cool. So yeah, we just take turns posting on there and spread the word and just kind of honoring our seniors, because it's hard that, we might not have graduation parties and different ways to tell people our plans. So yeah.
Very cool. If people want to find that on Instagram, where should they look? What's the name?
Yeah, the username is WFHS 2020.
All right, pretty simple. Very cool. So let's shift gears a little bit. We talked about your photo project. Another thing that you've been pretty passionate about throughout high school is working with student council. You've done a lot over your years here with student council. So what do you feel like you've been able to get out of being a part of this student leadership organization?
Yeah, so I have been able to be on student council since middle school, and I feel like every year has kind of brought me something new. And I think it's like, for me personally, it's just cool to look back on so many cool like memories and opportunities that I wouldn't have had if I wasn't in student council, and like the friends I was able to meet. Like, I was a freshman and I was hanging out with juniors and seniors, and like it was super cool to meet people from everywhere. And like some of the people, like upperclassmen that I met from student council, are my best friends now. And yeah, it's just cool to look back on it, it's given me a lot of leadership opportunities and like projects that I've been able to work on. And for me personally, like I've always been a pretty outgoing, like extroverted person, if you didn't know that. And so for me, it kind of has like helped that. And I've definitely seen like growth in myself as well as other people. I've seen people that are kind of like more of the like background leaders where they are leaders, but they're not as crazy as I am. And I've seen them like break out of their shell, and like underclassmen who our first meeting didn't say a word and now are taking on more leadership and stuff. So
Yeah.
it's cool to see the growth in everybody.
Yeah. And I would echo what you said. I mean, from what I've seen in you as an advisor, it's clear you're a very different person from where you started back on day one to where we are now, finishing out our last few weeks of your senior year. So we have a couple big things going on with student council right now. One is the election of next year's student body president. The other is people are now able to apply to be on student council next year. So let's start with that student body president position. You've seen multiple student body presidents here at West Fargo High School. So what do you think makes a good president? What are some of those qualities that you've seen that have stood out for you?
Yeah, I think that one of the things that I've noticed in the most recent years is that communication is so important, and you can be an amazing leader and like put a team together, but if you're not communicating what the expectations are for everybody, it doesn't go as smoothly. And so like really leaving communication open and reminders, because all student council members are busy and usually in other activities. So just communicating and planning ahead, I think. Experience isn't everything. Like leaders kind of show up from nowhere, and there's been people who have joined student council like their junior or senior year and have been great leaders. And so experience is nice, but it's not everything, obviously. And yeah, communication is a big one. How well they can work in a team, kind of how like this, all the students see how different people in their grades act around teachers or act around other students, and how they treat other people, and just like picturing that kind of person as leading your school, like really actually taking into consideration and thinking about it when you're looking at that voting list, because sometimes students think, oh, this isn't really going to apply to me, like I'll just pick a random one, because maybe some students aren't involved in as much at school and it doesn't affect them, but it has a really big effect on student council, obviously, and student council is who leads all the stuff that goes back to the school. So it really is an everybody kind of thing that everybody should be voting for and participating in, and just choosing someone who you think is a team worker, but also can step up and take some leadership if they need to.
Yeah, very good. And if students didn't know, you, if you're a freshman, sophomore, or junior right now, you should have a button on your iPad that got pushed out that will allow you to pick from the 3 candidates that are up for student body president for next year. And that does end tomorrow, though, at 4 o'clock. So you need to make sure that you have, that's Friday at 4 is your last opportunity to vote for that. So then the other part that's going on right now is we're looking for people to apply to be on student council for next school year. So why would you have people apply for student council? What reasons would you give them to do that?
I think obviously if you want to improve your leadership skills, and be more involved within the school, but a big thing that people don't realize with student council is how involved and aware you can be of the community and like the needs around us. Like student council does the blood drive, and we do fill the dome, and like I've been able to see what's going on just in West Fargo and in our areas, and I've been impacted by Fill the Dome, obviously, a lot because I was able to take on some leadership there this year, and just seeing the impact that young people can make is super cool. So I'd say if you want to reach out and learn more about the community and the needs in our school, and I'd say if you're creative and think you have ideas, I mean, nobody thinks that our school is perfect, and like everybody has things that I love our school, you know, don't get me wrong, it's a great school, but there's things that everybody thinks like, oh, I wish, you know, and if you have any ideas like those, student council is the place that you should be, because that's where you can start conversations like that, and nobody's going to shoot anything down or be negative. Like, it's all just being creative. And like I said, like, there's quiet leaders and there's more outgoing leaders, and you need everybody. You need somebody who is a leader that maybe doesn't take charge and like communicate as much, but you need those leaders that are sending out emails and doing paperwork, and you need every kind of person to have a good team like that. So really no one should be scared or like, oh, I'm not outgoing enough, or I'm not like involved enough in school, because like I have changed a lot throughout high school, and I owe it to student council a lot. And yeah, I don't think there's a negative to applying at all.
Very good. So yeah, if you're listening to this and you're a freshman, a current freshman or current sophomore especially, we're a little low on applicants for those two grades. So if you think like it's even something you're remotely interested in, check out. It's a short little application, and we would love to have some new faces and new ideas on next year's student council. So before I let you go, one last question for you here. You're a senior. We got only a few weeks left. We don't know what the future might hold here. But if you could give one message to that senior class right now, what do you think that message would be?
It's hard because I don't feel like I can look down and give advice, because we're all in the same boat. Yeah. But nobody has ever gone through this before. Like, it's very new and weird for everybody, but I guess just staying hopeful that things are going to be amazing and even better in the future. Like, I'm sure you can attest that like people say that, oh, high school is like the best time in your life. And although it's really good and we're missing out on last prom and last season for sports and all that kind of stuff, like if people are going off to college or going to the military or going straight into a job that they want to do, like that kind of stuff in your life, I feel like it sucks right now that we don't know what's going to happen, but I have so many things in my future to look forward to. And like, I do think that things are going to be a lot better, even like a year away from now, or 5 years or 10 years. So although high school has been really important, and it's been like, this graduation is what we've been working towards for 13 years. Like, it's a very big deal, but knowing that life just starts after we're done, I guess.
Yeah, great words, great advice, even though it wasn't really advice. But thanks for being our guest here today. Thanks for the insight on the photo project you and the other student council members have been working on. And stay well.
Sweet, you too. Thank you.
Thanks.
That's going to wrap our show for tonight. But before we go, one last message for all you Packers out there. And it's an important one to hear right now. What does it mean to be a Packer in the world we're living in today? So, first off, P. P is for pride. Pride in our school, pride in our country, pride in our community, pride in yourself, and pride in the work you're putting in every day for school. A is for amazing. Each and every student, teacher, administrator, counselor, and staff member have been doing amazing work over these last few weeks. C is for community. We're all one school community at West Fargo High School. K is for kind. Now, more than ever, it's imperative that we are kind to one another. E is for engage. Engage with your classes. Engage with your teachers. Let's keep working hard. R is for relationships. Relationships are so important right now, with friends, with family, with teachers, and everyone you come in contact with. So, as we leave, let's remember, take care of yourself, take care of your family, and until next time, let's keep sharing that good news.